Hi, and welcome back to the Jeep Leonidas channel. Today I want to talk about two terms that hopefully you have heard, and if not, hopefully this is a good video to introduce you to these two terms. These two terms are tread lightly and leave no trace. What do those two terms to me? In my mind and to me, these terms mean respecting the lands and areas that you are in as if they were your front yard. So with that basic understanding of what those two terms mean, here are 7 rules and tips that I try to follow every time I'm on the trail. Tip number 1, travel on trails that are open. Don't go past those road close signs. It's as simple as that. But also with that, obtain those permits or those licenses that you need. Tip number 2, travel on trails that are meant for your mode of transportation. I see it a lot too here. Most of the offenders happen to be just young kids who aren't paying too much attention. But just so we're all clear, a Jeep is not a horse, a four-wheeler is not a dirt bike, a horse is not a hiker. Tip number 3, if you pack it in, you'd better pack it out. Yes, I'm talking about the trash that people leave up there. Now I know most of us probably aren't the culprits leaving the trails a mess or leaving trash in campsites or whatever. If you see it, pick it up. If it's yours, definitely pick it up. And this includes that biodegradable stuff that is out there. I know it's supposed to be fine and safe for the environment, but it still isn't meant to be out there. It's kind of an eyesore for some of these areas that most of us like to travel. So just pick it up, take it out with you. This also goes for any fluids in your vehicle. Do your best to make sure that if it hits the ground that you're cleaning up, but better yet, just make sure it doesn't hit the dirt. Tip number 4, consider your winching points. Use those tree savers if you got them and the only thing you can winch to is a tree. Better yet, if they are available, use the established winching points on some trails. Tip number 5, leave gates as you found them. The ranchers out there in some of these public lands don't want you letting their animals out of a particular area. So with that in mind, just make sure that if you drive through a closed gate, that the last person in your group closes it, or that you make sure it gets closed yourself. Also with that, a lot of ranchers here in Idaho like to use guardian dogs. These guardian dogs are meant to protect the animals and keep them kind of in the same central location. These are working dogs, they're not lost, and they don't need your help. Leave these dogs alone. Tip number 6, don't harass the wildlife. They're out there doing animal things, let them do animal things. They're definitely not bugging you, so don't bug them. Also with that, dawn and dusk animals like to travel a lot more, and they're more active during these times. So just be careful of animals crossing the road. Don't want to hurt them or damage your vehicle. And tip number 7, or rule number 7 that I like to follow while I'm out on the trail, mind the trail. And this has a lot to do with how I behave while I'm on the trail and things I do or don't do while I'm on the trail. For instance, turning around on a trail. I will never turn around on a trail a part of the trail rather, that is too narrow. I will either drive up or back down the trail to find an area that I can turn around in to get off the trail. Along with not making these trails wider because of turning around. Don't make these trails wider because you can't drive over an obstacle. Drive over the obstacle rather than around them unless they have a bypass. Straddling the ruts. Now, there's a whole lot of practice or a whole lot of reasons why you should. One, it's better for your vehicle, but a bigger reason is that it doesn't damage the trail as much if we are doing that. Keeps the trails the way that nature's kind of making them, and it just makes it less of a headache, and it still allows other people to be able to use these trails. And also, last but not least, watching the wheel spin. Don't be spinning out on those loose grand saddle or digging holes in the mud just because you can. This just creates more of an issue for the trail and for those who want to enjoy the trail after you. So there you have it. There's 7 rules that I like to follow while I'm on the trail, just to make sure that I'm doing my part while I'm out wheeling with my Jeep.